Hi, and good morning, everyone. I'm Dean from Sunrise Integration, and I'd like to welcome you to our Shopify point of sale hardware demo. For the next hour, I'm going to focus on showing you the Shopify point of sale hardware, all the different devices, all the cool new devices that have come out. And along the way, feel free to ask any questions. I've got Kurt moderating for me here on the side. So let's get started. We first want to start thinking about retail and how retail has changed after the pandemic. It's a very different market now. People are expecting a lot more, both kind of online and in store. So if you're running a retail store, it's important to understand what your consumers really want. And what is it that consumers are really wanting these days? Consumers have been accustomed to being able to sit at home and shop, and things are pretty easy. So it's going to take a lot to actually get them to come out, go to the store, go in store, and actually shop from the in-store. They're used to being at home. That's the first thing you have to overcome in your retail store. It's easy shopping from home. You're at your house. You can browse very easily. There's lots of things available. One or two clicks is very simple. So customers want the kind of the at-home experience in the retail store, having what's called like an endless aisle, a lot of options, a lot of different things that are available to them. So this is something retailers have to think about. You've got a limited space in your retail location. How can you offer as many options that you can offer online? Another thing that's becoming really popular is what's called BOPIS, or Buy Online, Pick Up in Store. This is where customers can shop on the online store, find something they like, and then kind of scratch that itch by actually going to the retail store and then picking it up. Kind of a nice little hybrid, right? Sometimes people don't want to actually wait for something to ship. They want to be able to get it right away. So having the ability to have someone shop online and then go to the store and pick up, it's a very, very popular thing consumers are looking for these days. Another thing is to actually being able to go to the store, find something, or maybe not find quite what you wanted, but having the retail staff available to look at the online store and say, hey, we can ship something to you. So being able to buy something in a store and actually have it delivered to your house, this is another very popular thing. As I mentioned earlier, there's this concept of kind of an endless aisle where you've got a limited space in your retail store, but of course online you can have a lot more products. So by having a system that can look into your online store in addition to what's in your retail store, you're going to be able to offer a lot more options to your customers. And of course, we've all had to deal with returns and exchanges, right? This is probably one of the most difficult things these days to deal with. When you're shopping online, a box arrives, maybe you don't like what it is, then what do you do? What are the options that are available? These days, consumers are looking for a little bit better solution to this, as opposed to just kind of sending back a box. They want to know, hey, could I possibly go to the actual retail location, one of the retail locations that are near me, of course, and return it that way, give them the box and potentially switch it out for something that's in store. Again, very, very popular option, something the customers are really looking for these days. When you do get them into the store, of course you want things, the checkout experience to be quick and easy. And we've all been to the Apple store, I'm sure, and we've seen these really cool devices where the staff and the associates actually bring the checkout experience to you, to the customer. If you're able to get customers, to leave the comfort of their home, come into the retail shop, you want to make that experience as quick and as simple as possible. So this is, again, something that customers are expecting these days, the ability to go into the store and check out quickly, check out easily, and not really having to wait in line to check out. So sounds like a lot, right? We've got a lot of different things that you're expected to do as a retailer these days. And if you're thinking about it, it's like, gosh, I've got to online, I've got to have devices in my store, I have to have this connected ecosystem. That's a lot of different things. Is this really something that can be done easily with one simple platform? Definitely. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today, which is the Shopify point of sale system. Shopify has a lot of great devices and connected ecosystems that can let you do, as a retailer in your store, everything that we just talked about, right? You can let people come in, they can ship to their house, they can handle returns, they can buy online, they can pick up in store, walk around with these cool devices. You can have a really truly unified platform utilizing Shopify. So you have kind of a great one-stop shop with all of Shopify's really cool devices. And that's what we're going to focus on today, is these actual devices. What are the hardware systems needed to have in your store to do all the things that we just talked about? So what are we going to review? What are we going to look at? There, of course, is the Shopify point of sale. This is kind of a more typical interface that you're probably used to seeing. A tablet that's set up in a store. It's got a little reader on the side that lets you tap, lets you insert your credit cards, all that kind of fun stuff. Kind of a standard thing that you've seen in a lot of stores. Taking it to the next level is Shopify's new point of sale Go, or the POS Go. And this is a device that's very similar to what we showed you earlier, like the Apple Store has, where your staff and your retail associates can take the device, have it in their pocket. As the customers are browsing the store, they can take out the device and help the customer find products, scan things, check out, tap with a credit card, all right from this handheld device. So it really makes the checkout experience very dynamic, very kinetic, and there's no waiting, right? Customers don't have to sit in line kind of waiting for a long time. They can come in and check out very, very quickly. Another great device that Shopify has released is something called the Shopify POS Terminal. So the terminal works with the tablet device to give customers a front-facing device that they can see. So as you're adding things to the shopping cart, they can see the items in the shopping cart. They can be prompted for tips. They can be prompted to tap their credit card. They can be prompted for paying in cash, seeing how much, seeing totals. So it's really a great device that works with the tablet to give it a full shopping experience right from the actual counter itself. So how does all this stuff kind of work together? With Shopify's ecosystem. There's a great centralized back office, which is the Shopify administration section. Of course, there's these great point-of-sale apps and point-of-sale devices, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. And what's really cool about these devices is everything is integrated. So you don't have to buy all these separate devices and separate scanners and all these different things. You could potentially have everything in just one nice handheld device. And all of these devices have the payment and processing built into it. So again, customers can tap their credit card, they can insert all from the same device, and it makes it really easy because you can have staff members just kind of walking around. So let's take a closer look at the different pieces of hardware that are available and kind of show you what they look like, what are some of the options on the devices, and then how they work with the Shopify ecosystem. So I'm going to switch over here to an overhead view where you can see the different devices that I've got live here on my counter. I'm going to start by showing you the devices themselves, and then we'll talk about how they actually work together and how we can utilize them in the back office. So let's start with the first device that we have here, which is the actual Shopify point of sale itself. Again, this is kind of a standard thing that you've seen a lot. It's a tablet that you download the Shopify app onto the tablet, and then you can have this on your counter. Right now we're utilizing the Shopify Retail Kit that actually comes with a stand, and the tablet itself can be removed. So if I actually remove this tablet, you can see that there's this cool thing on the back that lets you very easily click it on to the retail unit itself. And then the device itself swivels back and forth. So you, as the staff member, can be doing what you need to do here, clicking the buttons, adding everything to the cart, and then you can potentially just slide it over and you can see how it kind of flips. And then the customer could check out, could do everything that they need to do. And then on the side over here is the tap chip device that's connected to the tablet. So these two are kind of your standard setup where you can have this device here, you can flip things around, flip it back and forth, and you can handle both your retail and the customers themselves. So this is great. I think for a standard setup, this certainly makes a lot of sense. You can then connect one of these kind of devices, which is a scanner. So as people are checking out, you can basically use the little scanning device and scan products into the system. So for example, I've got this device here. I use my scanner, boom, pops up, and it's available here on the tablet itself. So if you're just using the tablet, you can potentially do a checkout, have a screen here, and again, use the screen and tilt it back and forth to show some options to the customer, and then show some options for the staff members. Now this can be a little clunky at times. So Shopify released the point of sale terminal, and that's what this device is here. So right now I've got this device kind of facing in the staff direction, but in a real environment, this would actually be kind of facing the other way, kind of like this, for the customer to actually see. And anything that you do on the tablet ends up showing on this device here. So you can see as I add different items, it's going to show you the line items and the total. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but hopefully you guys can see that as you do different things, the terminal is going to show you the same thing that you're seeing from the staff member. And everything is connected very easily. So the back of it, you can see there's a cable here. And if I actually take this off for a second, you can see I've got some cables back here. So the back of the device lets you connect via USB, in this particular unit, the tap chip, and you can actually take the terminal itself and connect them both via USB. So you don't have to worry about batteries. You don't have to worry about the devices kind of, going out on you during a retail day, because it's all connected from this main terminal device here. So the POS terminal basically gives your customer the same view that you see. So I'm going to add another item to the cart real quick and take a look at how you can see the totals here end up changing. So when I scan in another device, you can see the total changes here, and then the total changes on the point of sale terminal as well. So this way, your customer, as you're scanning things in and as you're putting things into the bag, they can see a running total of everything that's happening and what's inside of their cart. Then what's cool is with this particular unit facing the staff, you can then start the checkout process, and the customer doesn't necessarily have to see what's happening here. They can just see what's on this particular device. So if I was to say, well, let's do a checkout, and I'm going to say that this customer is going to pay with a credit card. And I've turned on the tipping feature. So you can see on this device here, it's actually prompting and saying, hey, I'd like to potentially give a tip. And you can set custom values for the tip values. So this device would be facing the customer and would be showing tips. And then the customer can basically leave a tip, decide not to leave a tip, or whatever the case may be. So let's say I had really great service here. I'm going to leave a tip. So boom, I can confirm, I can pay, I can say I'm doing a tip or no tip. So everything is available here from this particular device. The staff, of course, sees their version of what's happening there, and they can kind of control things that are happening. So maybe the client comes back and says, oh, you know what, I need to add some more items to my cart or something. So you can actually go in, cancel out, and continue to work. And then, of course, you can see everything that's happening here on the point of sale terminal is replicated from what you see on the screen here. The terminal, again, is the kind of all-in-one device that's facing the customer. So they get a couple cool things that they can do with this particular device, and I'll show you what this looks like. At the bottom, you've got the credit card slider. You insert the card, and you can do it that way. On the back of the device, you've got, this is the actual slide. So if somebody wants to slide their card, you can do so from the back of the device here and slide it. And of course, just a regular tap chip. If you've got the tap, you can do that as well. So if somebody is checking out and they've got a credit card, let's say they decide they want to leave a tip, you can see that the device here is going to say, hey, go ahead and tap or insert, and it's prompting the customer with the total to finalize the transaction. So at that point in time, again, they can either tap on the device, they can insert it from here, or they can slide it from here. And this is the terminal is really facing the customer. So you could potentially hand it to them, you can have it on the counter, whatever the case may be. But this is the main terminal and interface that the customer is going to use. So let's get out of here real quick. So this is great. This is kind of a standard setup that you see a lot in a lot of different retail locations. You've got a tablet, you've got something that the customer can utilize. You've got the scanner here to be able to scan different products into the shopping cart. What's really cool and takes things to the next level is this device here, which is the Point of Sale Go. And this is the dynamic kind of mobile handheld device. It's really about the size of an iPhone. It's really light, very easy to use. Comes with this cool case. You can see here, this case connects to the actual device. It's kind of hard to get in and out for a demo, but the device actually kind of clicks in here. And now it's a handheld device with this little strap. So you could have team members basically just kind of hold the device like this, walk around the store with it, keep it in a pocket, do whatever. It's very light, very easy to hold device. Again, it's basically like the size of an iPhone, so very easy to put in a pocket. But you'll notice that the interface on the actual Point of Sale Go is very, very similar to what you're seeing on the tablet. Same software, same setup, same everything. So you don't necessarily have to train your staff on entirely different devices or a different interface or anything and all like that. It's just a slightly different form factor. So adding something to the point of sale device via the tablet is kind of the same concept, except everything is integrated into this device. So this device has a couple cool buttons on the side here. You have a scanning device on this side. You can see if I press this button, you can see the little red light pops up here. So this is my integrated scanner. So much like you got this handheld device that works with the tablet, this has an integrated scanner, and you can just press this here on this side, and it makes the scanner go. So if we go back to this guy right here that I've got, let's go ahead and scan that guy in, and you can see that my t-shirt is added, and it's added just by scanning it. And of course you can, maybe they want to buy 2 of those or something like that, and you can go check out and see the cart. Same kind of interface as on this particular unit, but just done from the handheld side of things. On the other side, same thing again. You have another button here, so you actually have a scanner on this side, and you have a scanner button on that side. So whether you kind of hold it from this side, you can very easily just hit the scanner here with your thumb this way, or maybe you're left-handed, so now you can put it in and you've got your scanner here on this side. So really clever device. They really thought a lot about it. Here you've got a power switch, so you can turn things on and off, like any kind of mobile device. Basically turn it on and off to restart, hold it down to power off. On the top of the device, kind of similar to the point of sale terminal, you've got the slide here for the credit cards. So if someone needs to slide their card, you basically have the thing here. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. You can kind of see it there. This allows you to slide the credit card onto the device, and also the insert at the bottom. So you can take the credit card and slide it into the bottom here. And of course, just the standard tap as well. So if somebody's ready to check out, so for example, I've got this item in the cart here that we just put in. I've got my 2 items. I'm the staff member. I'm going to do a checkout. I'm going to let my customer, I'm going to choose what the customer is going to do here. Let's say they're going to do a cash payment. Let's say, for example, let's do a credit card. I don't have credit card turned on in this particular demo, but then it's basically going to prompt you to show this device to the customer, and they can decide. I do have this is a manual entry, so it's actually asking for credit card details because I have the manual mode turned on. But in a normal transaction, very similar to how the screen on the terminal looked, it would prompt you to show the device to the customer. They would then either tap or insert or slide it in, and then this device basically handles everything right from this one unit. So now you've got this full ecosystem where you've got the tablet, you've got the point of sale Go, and you have the point of sale terminal, and you have the point of sale Go. So all these devices are connected behind the scenes to your Shopify administration, which is really the back office. And so if we take a look at the back office, there's a lot of great controls for the different devices. So switching over to the Shopify screen, in your Shopify administration, you're going to have a section specifically for the point of sale. So if you click into the point of sale, one of the first things I want to click on here is this devices. So what's really cool about this is in this device area, all of the different devices that you have connected are going to be showing on the screen here. So for example, we've got the main point of sale Go device. We can see that it's online. You can see that it's undocked. And then you've got the POS terminal, and it shows you that here. It shows you that that particular device is a customer display terminal. It's docked, and it gives you some information about it. So this is really great as an administrator from kind of the back office. You can really see what's happening. And you can have multiple point of sale Go devices. So typically you'd have a terminal for each point of sale that you've got on the tablet, and then you may have multiple point of sale Go's roaming around the store. So each of those different devices and everything that you have are going to be in this list here, so you can see all the different devices, and you can even click on it and get a little bit more information. So you can see who logged into it, which actual staff member is logged into that particular device. You can see that they're on a point of sale Go. You can check battery levels. You can see network information, some analytical information about the actual unit itself. So this is very handy if you want to see who's got what device, what's happening, who's logged in. This is extremely important because a lot of times retail stores are going to give attribution or commissions to different members. And so whomever is logged into the particular unit is going to be the one who's going to get some attribution. So this is a great way. Again, maybe a store manager wants to see who's working that day or who's got activated devices. This is a great way to see everything that's connected. In addition to actually seeing the devices, there are some settings for the devices that are controlled from the administration panel as well. So within the settings area here, there's a couple things that we can do. First is the customer display. So when you have that point of sale connected, you can click on here and then you can upload the image that you want to show and then control whether or not you want to show these icons that are here. So if you recall from our device that we uploaded this cool image that shows on the terminal. So if I just pop back over to the terminal real quick, you can see that this image here is the image that we uploaded into the Shopify backend here. So you can put whatever you want. You can upload it. It uses just a standard portrait 1920 by 1080 image. You upload it. It has to be a PNG file. You can decide whether or not you want to show these payment icons. So whatever payments you're accepting, you can basically turn those on and off. You can click here to upload the different images that you want. You can turn the icons on and off. And then after somebody taps or after somebody finishes the transaction, you can display a little message here. So in this case, we've put this cool little, hey, thanks for shopping in our store. So any changes that you make on this particular screen shows up on this device. So the POS terminal is controlled. So you can see you've got the icons here at the bottom, and then you've got the image that controls from the back end here. And all of that happens from this screen here, which is the administration. So you can see how, again, we talked earlier about having a connected ecosystem, how the back end of the administration really controls what you see on the front end and then lets you manage your devices, lets you manage orders on all of your different locations right from within here. I'm going to pause here for a second and see if we have any questions about anything that we've seen so far. Is there anything critical on the question front that we want to answer? I think we're looking okay. Double check, any good questions so far?
Andrew was asking.
I've got Kurt here moderating for me, so any questions?
Leander was saying having the new tablets can also be beneficial if you have an old point of sale system and you don't necessarily want to completely change your current workflow.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely worth noting. So this particular unit that I have here is one of the two options that are available for the retail unit. So this one, you can see that it takes the hardware, the tablet, and it's actually inserted into this case. And the case itself has this magnet behind the scenes here, also has the camera that's available, and then everything clicks into the device. So this works with just a specific size tablet in one specific, I think this is the 9-inch iPad. There is another option that doesn't put the iPad into this particular case and actually connects from the side. So that way you can actually use different size tablets, so you're not forced to use just this one specific size tablet, but it does have the same concept where it sits on the stand, it connects, and then you can basically pivot back and forth. So this one is definitely made for this specific size tablet. This is one of the retail kits that you can get, but there is also the other one that does support different sizes and lets you basically have a different one. And per what the question said, yeah, you can connect it to whatever iPad that you have, download the software onto that, and you're good to go. So really convenient that you can put it on the iPad, and there is also an Android option available as well. Any other questions, Kurt, before we move on?
Alex was saying he thinks that point of sale is a good opportunity for merchants to expand to farmers markets and swap meets.
Yeah, so one great thing about a device like this is that, as you can see, it's, completely wireless, right? So as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can connect to your point of sale, and you don't have to be tied down to a counter. So these two devices, pretty obviously, are going to be sitting at your retail counter, right? So that they're going to be, you may have 2 or 3 of these devices, but they're going to be set. This thing is going to be, on the desk itself, mounted here. You can swivel back and forth. You've got this facing the customer. Doesn't really make a good layout if you're doing like a flea market or something like that, or a pop-up shop or something. That's where a device like this is great, because everything is in this one device. Again, you've got all the ability to do the credit card scanning, the tap chip, the scanner device here to scan items in. It all happens right from this one device. So you could technically take this with you to a flea market or a swap meet or any kind of pop-up device, pop-up event with just this one device and do everything from here. So yeah, this is definitely one way to really have a really kind of dynamic mobile environment with this. Now, if you're in a store, of course, having these things working together is great, right? Maybe you have a store like a garden store or something where you have to run around outside and people are buying plants or pots or things like that, right? And you've got this big expansive area. Having staff members, maybe 2 or 3 staff members who've got a device like this kind of running around scanning things, and then having a device like this inside. So again, they work really, really well together, or they can work independently. So it really depends upon what your setup is. But what's really cool about it is Shopify gives you a lot of really great options. And again, regardless of what you're doing, everything is accessible from behind the scenes here. So you can have all your devices connected to your ecosystem and connected to your main Shopify store. Cool. Any other questions before we kind of move on? Okay, cool. So let's talk about this unified platform and this concept of having all these great devices. So in a real environment, how are they working together? So clearly you can see here that as an administrator from the back office, I'm able to see the devices that I have. If you're familiar with Shopify already, you'll know that you can see any kind of orders that come into the system, and you can see the products that you've got loaded into your system. So everything that's in this back office is what you're going to see on your point of sale devices. So all of the products, all of the orders, and everything that you make. So when somebody places an order, you can see from the back office here that I've got point of sale order on this particular date and how much was paid. So the back office is able to see all of the orders that are coming from the point of sale devices themselves. And again, it's a unified platform. So what exactly does that mean? So at the retail location as well, the staff members can tap into the same information that we just saw on the Shopify side. So down here at the bottom with the different settings, I am able to click on orders, and I am able to see, let me just back out of here real quick. If I click here, I am able to see the different orders from within the system as well. So again, this concept of everything being unified is very helpful. So maybe somebody's placing an order in the store, and maybe somebody at the back office or in the main office wants to be able to see those orders. They are able to see everything that happens within this order area as well. And another thing that's really cool is if you've got multiple devices, Shopify just allowed the ability to save orders as drafts, and then you can pick them up on different devices. So what exactly does that mean? Here's a really cool thing that you can do. So right now, what I'm going to do is go back to this point of sale. You can see at the moment, I've got nothing in this particular cart. And if I look at this particular one, I've got nothing in my shopping cart. So I'm gonna buy one of these really cool Sunrise polo shirts here on this device. I'm gonna scan it in. Okay, so I've scanned in this particular unit, and I'm gonna say, maybe I want 2 of those particular shirts. So I've got these 2 shirts in this particular cart. Now let's say you're in the retail store, you're talking to the customer, and they say, you know what, I actually want to kind of browse around for a little bit more, maybe I'll come back later or something like that. So as opposed to kind of taking this device and holding on to it and saying, okay, well, I'm going to wait or run around or something, you can now click into this menu here, and you can save this particular order as a draft. And it might be a little bit blurry, but I can save that as a draft order and put the customer's name here. So I can say, hey, this is, maybe this is Bob Jones, and this is going to be the order for Bob. And so now I've got this draft order saved in the system. So you'll see the little notification here says that the draft order is saved. So now I can take this device and I can go help somebody else. I'm a staff member, I'm running around doing something. Let's say now that Bob comes back later and he says, hey, you know, I'm just gonna go to the counter and check out. So somebody at the counter says, Bob goes to the counter and says, hey, you know, I just placed an order and the sales associate who was running around saved it for me. Great. So we can now click onto the orders here, go into the drafts, and you can see that that order that was just saved from this device now can be picked up onto this device. And so this is what Bob ordered, right? I've got my 2 shirts here. I've got everything here. I've got Bob Jones saved. And so now I, as the staff associate on this particular device, can actually go ahead and complete the order from here. So you see I've got the order and the POS terminal replicates what's here, and you can check out from there. So very handy way to kind of pass things back and forth. Now again, because we are talking about this really cool unified environment, what happens if we say, well, what if Bob says, you know, I want to maybe come back later and buy something online? Well, you know what? From the Shopify administration section, I can click into the drafts, and what do you know? The order that was just saved is available from within the main administration section as well. So again, this concept of having this unified commerce allows you to place orders, create carts from within the retail store and potentially move it between the different devices in the retail store, and then also pick up the draft order from within the online store as well. So this is a great way to have that really connected ecosystem, so all of the different devices are talking to the main back order system. I'm going to pause here and see if we have any questions.
Diego was asking, are these features available to access for devices in any other countries?
Yeah, so Shopify works with a lot of different countries and a lot of different international locations. You'd have to go to the Shopify site to get the full list, but it is definitely available in different currencies. As long as you're using the Shopify payments, you can have the devices within different locations and different currencies.
Leandro asked, I was wondering if the POS system is available to just Plus Shopify members.
Yeah, so what's really cool is you don't have to have Plus in order to use it. It is available to all different store types. Depending upon what you're doing, though, and how many locations you have, you may potentially need to upgrade if you're doing a lot of locations. So for example here, I only have the one location with my online store and one location for the actual point of sale. Let's say, for example, I was a larger retailer. Maybe I have hundreds of outlets or maybe thousands of outlets. So as you grow these locations and add different locations to your configuration, you're definitely going to have to potentially upgrade to a different Shopify plan to support all of those different locations. Cool. So let's go back to some of the devices and take a look at how they work and some of the cool things that we can do with the devices. I don't have one set up here at the moment, but one important thing that I did want to show is the receipt printer. So in the settings area here, if you have a receipt printer connected, you can click on here and you can do and create a custom receipt. So this is really great if you've got a system connected to this as for a receipt printer. So basically when somebody checks out here or somebody checks out on any of the devices, you're going to want to potentially print something out. And if you had one of those receipt printers connected, then you can set up the look and feel of it from within here. And you can decide what it is you want to show. You can add a logo. You can add some different information here. You can click and turn different things on, add order notes to it, who actually helped them at the register, any kind of information about the customer. So for example, if this was something where you're shipping something to somebody's home, then you can put their information here and it would basically show on the receipt. So this is a great way to get a receipt printer connected and then control everything from the back end from the devices area from here. So I'm going to leave this page because I don't have anything happening here. So let's jump back to the devices. I first want to double check if we've got any more questions.
Yes, Stephanie was asking, how customizable is the terminal cards associate facing to be able
Yeah, for sure. So I showed a little bit earlier, but let's just double check again. So when I click here into the display, you can basically upload any kind of image you want here, as long as it's a PNG file in a portrait 1080 by 1920 configuration. You can upload it from within this back office, and whatever you upload here is what gets showed. So if I look over at this device here, I'm going to just clear this cart so we can see. You can see that the image that I uploaded from within the Shopify screen is what's showing on the device here. So you can basically have these things connected and have any image that you want showing on this POS terminal, and you're controlling it all from within this backend section here from within the site. So let's go back now. I'm going to get out of here. And let's go back to the devices and talk a little bit about some of the features that we mentioned earlier. So one thing that a lot of customers want to be able to do is buy something and potentially ship it to them either at home or from the store. And that was, again, what we mentioned earlier, one of a really important thing that customers are asking for. And let's say the customer initiated their journey online, buy online, pick up in store. So again, with this being a unified platform, let's just pop back over real quick to Shopify. Any customers that are inside of my customer area here are potentially available and accessible on the point of sale. So if somebody started online, maybe they were browsing something and they created an account on your online store, when you go to your customers on the actual devices, you'll be able to see those particular customers as well. So if somebody's buying something in the store, they can say, oh, you know what? I've got a customer account. I'd like to connect my account to my online account so I can have everything in one. So I'm going to go ahead and scan in the shirt again and create a cart for here. So I now have this particular shirt in my cart, and let's say that I'm at the retail location. I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm Bob. I'm a guy, I come in the store all the time. So you can actually click here and you can say, you know what, I want to add Bob to this particular order. So I can search for Bob and I can say, hey, what do you know? There's Bob. He's a customer that's already in my system. So now when I click on that, Bob is now associated to this particular order. And you can see on top here, I've got the information about Bob. So if Bob has his shipping information and his shipping address and everything saved in his account, then you can very easily use this ship to customer option here. So maybe they've got a lot of stuff, or maybe they're traveling or something like that, and they say, you know what, I can't really take all this stuff with me. I want to have it shipped. Or maybe you've added something to the cart that's not available in-store, but they want to combine in-store with online. All you have to do now is use the ship to the customer option because Bob is available. Now this is a demo account, so I don't think I have an address in this particular one here, but if I was to basically add an address here, I can put the Bob's information in here, put his address into the device, and then I could ship. So let's just go ahead and make up an address here. Shopify does have a really great address completion, so that'll help to ensure that you're getting quality addresses. For sake of speed here, I'm just going to pick one of these other completion ones and say that that's Bob's address. I'm going to save him. And now I've got an address associated to Bob. So now Bob can say, I want to have this shipped to me. So I can ship it, and now you can ship it to it. And then you can decide where it's going to be sent to Bob. Now, I don't have an email or phone number yet for Bob, so it's basically saying, hey, in order for us to ship, I've got to add that information here. So I'm just going to say that Bob is a Sunrise employee, let's say, for example. Okay, so you got to have at least an email address or a phone number here for Bob in order to make this work. So I'm going to say next, and now it's going to look at the shipping settings that I have in my store and decide how I can ship out and make sure that I've got the right information here. So I'm going to check. I should have the US. I'm going to go back. And so this is the shipping address that I've got for Bob. So you're able to basically send it out and connect it to Bob, and he's got it. And it's that easy to basically add customers or remove customers. So maybe if it wasn't Bob, I can just remove it and I could potentially add a different customer. So again, you can very easily have customers in the store, ship it to them, and connect to their accounts or create new accounts that'll show up inside of Shopify. Looks like we have another question.
Yeah, SYLM asks, are all the pop-ups available on the POS Go?
Yeah, so the point of sale Go, you'll notice from the interface, has the same capabilities that you see from the device here. So if you're adding any kind of apps or any kind of tiles or anything, both of them support. Again, just a different form factor is all it is, but in essence, all the same features. So if you are adding some kind of a tile, potentially a custom action or an app or something like that, you can add it as a tile. So let's go ahead and add a tile. So one very common thing a lot of people have at stores is like a bag fee, where if you're going to shop, I need to charge you an amount for the bag. So we're going to call this a bag. Oops. Bag fee, and the price for the bag is going to be 25 cents. So I'm going to save that. So I now have on this device, I'm going to hit save. So I now have a tile for a bag fee. So again, you can make customized setups and customize tiles for the device and add as many as you want. So at the moment I only have one page. So yeah, and this could also be an app too. So let's say you've got a point of sale app or something that you're using. At the moment I don't have any apps, but if I click on apps, and if I had some apps, I would be able to basically turn those on and add tiles for this particular device. And so now any tiles that I add can quickly be accessed. So on this one, let's say that I'm buying the shirt here, so I'm going to scan in the shirt. The shirt is now popping up in the store here. If I go to the cart, you can see I've got the shirt in it. But now I want to say, you know what? I've got that bag fee because this guy says he wants to have a bag. So you click on it, boom, now that 25 cent has been added. So if you look, you can see that the bag fee has been added and it's available there. And at the moment, I've got the devices, synchronized. So you'll notice that while I was kind of checking out and doing things here, that tile, that bag fee tile, was created on this device as well, because right now they're sharing the environment and they're pulling the same information. Cool. Any other questions before we move on?
Yeah, Leandro is asking, do you have to buy the POS system or are they rentals?
Oh, that's a great question. There might be a rental option. I don't know the answer to that. That could be a cool business model. Maybe you want to start that. But really the point of sale, depending upon what you're buying, really starts with a tablet. So if you already have a tablet, you can download the software and you're good to go. And then potentially you want to maybe buy the tap chip reader or the actual retail stand. So I think the cost of entry isn't really too much. These devices, of course, cost a little bit more if you want to have an additional terminal like this, like the POS Go or the terminal. But to answer your question, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe there's a service that does a rental. That unfortunately is not something that I know, but sounds like a cool business model. I think I think you should start a point of sale rental service. That could be very cool. Okay, any other questions? Okay, great. So I'm going to go back to the Shopify screen here. So again, what's really cool here is the ability for you to have all your different devices all in one area, unified to your orders, unified with your customers, and unified with your products. So if you need to be able to manage something, it's quite possible that you could have your retail location where you've got a bunch of devices in the store, you've got a lot of staff members walking around with different devices, you've got a POS Go and a terminal at the actual counters, and then maybe you have the store management who's in an entirely different location, and they're able to kind of see what's happening, see what's going, manage products, manage inventory. I only have a couple products that are available here, but you can see this particular shirt that I've got, I'm able to decide how many are available and see how many are available. So as people are purchasing in this particular area, I only have the one shop location, I would be able to see what's happening. So as people are placing orders and as things are happening, I would be able to see the deductions and everything from here. So I don't have this particular one. So if I click on adjustment history again, you can see that I think I started with 99, but if any orders were placed, I could see those orders from within this system here, and you could see the real-time deductions that are happening for that particular order. So if we place an order onto the system and actually do a checkout, you'd be able to see the deduction. So I'm going to place an order here in the POS so we can see how that deduction is happening in real time. So I'm going to go back here on my device and place the order here. Okay, so on my screen here, I went ahead and placed an order on this device here for the shirt. So I had my Bob guy buy a couple shirts and placed an order for that particular shirt here. So that order is done. Oops, so I'm going to complete the checkout. So this order is done. So Bob just placed an order for some shirts. So if I go back now to my Shopify screen, the order that I just placed just a few seconds ago, you can see right here, is available. So if I click on this particular one, you can see here's the shirt. It came from the Shopify location, so I know that the checkout was happening on the Shopify point of sale, and I can see what was ordered for this particular customer. I'm going to go ahead and just mark this as paid because in my demo I just did a quick no pay checkout just to check it out more quickly. But you can see that this guy purchased one of these polo shirts. So maybe it's someone on the administration side of things. If I'm looking at my inventory, you can see already that it's been deducted. If you remember from a moment ago, we had 99 of those in stock. So if I click into this shirt and we scroll back down into the inventory area, you can see there's 99 available because somebody purchased it. And if I click into this adjustment history that we showed you just a moment ago, you can see that the order was checked out. One was from this particular order, number 1009, and now that there's 98 available. So if we were on the online store and somebody wanted to buy this shirt online, you can see how the two systems are connected. So any purchases that happen online, any purchases that happen on the point of sale system, everything is shown from within here. So you'll know that your inventory in the point of sale and your inventory online are always up to date and connected. So again, that unified platform, which is a really important thing to make sure you're not overselling, because the idea is you're letting your customers buy from anywhere, buy from home, buy from online, it's all connected. And in store, if we go back and take a look, and if we say, hey, you know what, maybe the customer wants to know how many are available, I can look at that actual product itself, and you can see that the inventory numbers have been updated here as well. So the point of sale unit is connected to the back office, which is synchronizing the data from here. And of course, same deal here. So this is a wireless device. I click on products. I've got that same product here. I click on it, and you can see that the inventory values and the inventory numbers have been updated as well. So creating this unified platform is really important for making sure people in store and people online can have the right values, can have the right products, the right stock and inventory, making sure nothing gets oversold, all connected to the same hardware and ecosystem that you have there. You've got a tablet option with an integrated tap and chip reader. You've got the terminal, which is customer facing. Right now I've got it kind of facing the staff, but ordinarily be kind of facing another direction. And you've got the point of sale Go, which is everything completely integrated into one particular unit. So Shopify really makes it easy with a lot of different hardware options, a lot of different great kind of dynamic on the go, for pop-up shops like we talked earlier, flea markets, or you've got a retail location where you've got a counter, and you can mix and match. Again, you can have multiple units all connected and everything that shows up inside of your Shopify store. So we only have a few minutes left on this particular demo, so I just wanted to have one more check to see if there's any other questions or anything at all that I can answer. So I'll check with my moderator.
Yeah, so SYLM asks, are all apps available with POS Go?
Yeah, so all the apps that are point of sale centric apps, of course, are available on both platforms. So any app that you add, kind of like how we saw this bag fee, could potentially be added here as well. So as long as you've got an actual point of sale centric app that works with the point of sale systems, then yeah, you can basically use them both. And of course, it's a different form factor. So hopefully the whomever's developed the app kind of keeps that in mind, because if the app is designed to look optimized for this kind of an interface. It might look a little bit wonky in this particular one, but hopefully if it's responsively designed and smartly designed, you can use apps basically on both platforms. And the apps can be accessed, again, either from a tile by adding it and adding an app if you've got one added there, or depending upon what the app is, you could potentially access it from within the carts. So for example, here I've got a checkout, I've got a cart. If I had an app that was somehow integrated or doing something, I would be able to basically apply different features from the app from within here if it was designed in that way. And so if it's just a standard app, kind of like this bag fee or something, you can basically kind of activate and deactivate different things. So there's lots of great apps that are available, but they do definitely work on both platforms, which is great. So you can have buy the one app and activate it, and again, because everything's unified, it's kind of a one-to-many relationship. So you don't have to keep buying separate apps for all the different units. Buy one for this, buy one for that. As long as you've got the one app basically installed in your store, then it would be available. And any apps that you potentially have installed would be accessible from and visible from within this area here. At the moment, I don't have any apps installed, but you would be able to see them, again, from within this environment, do any kind of configurations that you need to do, and then, of course, use them on the actual point-of-sale hardware itself. All right. Any more questions? It looks like we've only got about 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure we can address any questions. Okay, I think we are at a good spot then with the questions and everything. So if you do have any more questions or anything kind of pops up in your head about anything that we just saw.
Leander's asking,
Looks like we have one last one.
are you able to share data between locations? For example, if somebody wants an item and they don't currently have it in Los Angeles, can I send the customer's info to Burbank, for example?
Yeah, that's definitely a great question. So the question was, can you potentially take customers from one location to another location and send them products from different locations? So at the moment in this particular configuration, I only have one single location. But let's say, for example, that you have a store maybe in Los Angeles and maybe another store in San Francisco, and maybe you've got one in Arizona or something like that. You can add your different locations here from within the area, from within this particular area, and then your point of sale would be able to see those different locations as well. So as we mentioned earlier about the shipping option, so if somebody comes into the store, you're able to look at the products, look at the locations and where they're available, and let them know if potentially you could ship it to them from a different location. And so that's definitely what makes it really cool, is having the multiple locations. And so the answer is yes, it's definitely something you can do, and something that is part of that unified commerce type of concept. Okay, we got time for one last question if anybody's got one. Okay, I think we are good. So just want to thank everybody for taking part in our demo. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for the questions. Really appreciate it. Also want to thank Shopify for sending us these great devices. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time.